it's svgcoop.com with another training video for you using Inkscape, and we're going to be working on our Frankenstein card. To be honest, this is about my 10th time of trying to record this video because sometimes Inkscape's a little bit challenging, even for me. Okay, so if you start to have a little bit of a challenge doing this, don't fret because I did also. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is go to File, Document Properties, and I'm going to change my units here to inches, and I want to make my canvas 12 inches by 12 inches, and then I'm just going to close that up. Okay? And then I'm going to zoom in to fit to page, and we're going to grab our rectangle tool. I'm just going to draw a rectangle, and don't worry about if yours is a different color, different size, doesn't matter, we're going to fix that. So with the black arrow tool now, and your rectangle selected, what we want to do is make sure there's no stroke around the rectangle. So I'm going to go to Object, Fill and Stroke, and over here on the right in the palette, I want to just make sure that my stroke paint is set to no paint. Okay? Then we're going to fix the size. So what I want to do is up on the top here, mine is set to pixels. I want to change that again to inches. And I want the width to be 11 inches. And I want the height to be 4.25 inches. And if you're a card maker, you know that that is actually half of an 8 by 11 piece of cardstock paper. So when you're making cards, generally we grab those and cut them in half, and voila, we have a card ready. Okay, but we are doing some intricate cuts, which is why we're not going to be just cutting this from a regular 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. So just to get in the spirit of things, I'm going to change my color, fill color at the bottom here to green, so it's got a little bit of that Frankenstein look to it. And I want to align my rectangle to the bottom left corner, and there's a couple of ways. You can go to Object, Align and Distribute, and if you had it relative to page, which is what I have, you can use the Align Left and Align Bottom, and you can see it brings it to the bottom of my page perfectly. But what I want to show you actually is another thing. With it selected, if we go to the X value up here and I make that a 0, and then I make the Y value a 0, it also will align it at the bottom, and you'll see why those numbers are important in a minute. Next thing we want to do is we need a fold line at the halfway point at the quarter point here. And we want it to be exact because otherwise our card is not going to fold nicely, and we really need it to be aligned, and of course that's the benefit of creating it yourself. So we're going to grab the Bezier tool, which is this little pen looking tool. I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to click and then Control or Command click a little. I'm going to drag down and Control or Command click farther down. And you can see now my line is green and my other line is pink here. And I'm just going to hit the return key. So my line is now a dashed line. I think you can see that if I zoom in a little. Oh no, it's a solid line. Okay, so it looks like it's a dashed line, but it's a solid line, and yours should be that too. So when you click on that, a couple things we want to do is, number one, we want to, again, make sure your setting is set to inches. We want the height to be 4.25 inches. And what we need to do is create a dashed line. So we're going to go to Object, Fill and Stroke. Mine was still open, yours probably is too. And we're going to go to Stroke Style. And then what we want to do is under here, under Stroke Style, you'll see that there's dashes options. And there's several options here where we can create dashed lines. And I'm just going to select this one right here. It's a little bit of a ways down. And if I click off of it, you can see now we have all these dashes, but they're a little bit close, so I don't really want that. So I'm just going to oops, sorry. I was just checking that out for a second. I just want to make this a little bit bigger here. Let's see. That's not doing it. Alright, I'm going to go back to what I originally was doing, which is these little circles that are 2 dots here. And I'm sorry, I literally have been making this video a bunch of times and trying different things, and somehow something doesn't work each time, so I'm going to stick to the script at this point. Okay, So we have a height of 4.25, and now what I need to do is I need to set it at the quarter point. So what I'm going to do is the x value now needs to be 2.75, and we're still at inches. And then we want the y value to be 0. So I'm just going to zoom back into the full page so you can see. So you can see now it's perfectly set at a 1/4 mark. And then I'm going to duplicate that line and just drag one of them away. And I know it's hard to see, but there actually is a dotted line here. I just want to zoom down here so you can see a little bit. Okay, you can see the dotted line, and it's on there perfectly. Now this one, we want at the halfway mark. So we're going to do x value of 5.5. And since I moved it away, I need to make the y value again a 0. So you can see now we have the two dotted lines in our rectangle. So I'm going to click the first one. And we're going to do path, stroke to path, shift select the rectangle. And then we're going to do path difference. And you can see now the line looks white, like it's white dots. And those are actually holes cut into the paper. So then we're going to grab the other one, same thing, path, stroke to path, shift select the rectangle, path, difference. Okay, so now we have our fold marks in our paper. Next thing we need to do is make a half circle here so that we can get ready for the eyeball for our Frankenstein. So I'm just going to scroll up a little bit. I'm going to grab my circular tool. And I'm just going to start to draw. Now mine is coming out as an ellipse already, but I'm just going to hit the full circle so you can see what we're doing. So yours will probably come out like a full circle. Again, it can be a different color. It depends on what your settings are. But with the circle tool selected and this, we're going to go onto the side here. I'm just going to click out and drag around. Oops. Okay. And I'm just going to hold the control key and drag it to the halfway point. Alright, so you guys, it might be a little bit of a challenge. It was certainly a little bit of a challenge for me as well, so I don't want you to feel bad about that. And again, like I said, because it was giving me a challenge, I stopped making the video a couple times, and I decided this time we're just going to go with it. So you're going to roll with me as we try and get this to work all right. Alright, so I want to select the circle to the point where I can rotate it because we need it to be in the up and down position, vertical position. So I'm just going to hold the control key and I'm just going to spin it around until we can get it so it looks like that. Okay? Now with it selected, I actually don't want the fill, I want the outline, but let's fix the size first. I want the height to be 1.5 inches. And I need the width to be half of that, so I'm going to make it 0.75. Okay? Alright, so we have our half circle here, but again, it's a fill and not a stroke or an outline. So we're going to go to our fill and stroke options over here. And before you change the fill, let's change the stroke. So we're going to just make it so there's a flat color here, and then we can go to the fill, and then we can do no paint for the fill. And then let's go to the stroke. Mine happens to automatically go to 6, but we're going to make that a 0.5 inch stroke. Okay, and let's see, I'm going to click off for a second, and you can see now for some reason mine actually looks like an arc. To be honest with you, I don't understand this all the time. Oh, okay, because I have the arc set, and that's what you want to have set. So you can click on the arc there, and that will give us our perfect line here. So what I'm going to do now, I'm so sorry, I know that sometimes this is a little confusing. Alright, so with the arc set, we can now go to path, stroke to path. Let's do path, object to path. And then we're going to shift select the rectangle, and we're going to do path, difference. Yay, it worked. Okay, so I'm going to write down the instructions for this one for sure because you're definitely going to need it. Anyway, we have now the half circle cutout that we need, and we have our dotted lines for folding. So now the rest of it's going to be easy. That was the hard part. Alright, next thing we need is another circle. We need the inner part of the eye, the second eye, and all of that. So I'm just going to scroll up here a little. And I'm just going to draw a circle. And of course now mine is, if you hold the control key it'll be perfectly round, but of course mine is now, and yours probably will show up like this. So we're just going to click the full circle button up here. And with that selected, let's make the circle a 1.4 by 1.4. And I actually want the fill to be white. I'm just going to go with an off-white so we can see. And I need 2 of those, so I'm going to duplicate that. But the second one, I need it to be a little bit smaller. So I'm going to go with a 1.1 by 1.1. Of course, if I hit my lock like that, it will keep it proportionate. Then we need the little black pieces of the eye. So I'm going to duplicate this again. And this time, I'm going to make my fill black. And I want the size to be, let's go with a 0.5. And that's going to be the, that's going to be the black part for this eye. And then we're going to duplicate that again. And this time we're going to go with a 0.3. And that'll be the one for the second eye. And then I need a circle for the nose. So I'm going to duplicate that again. Move it down. And the nose we're going to make a 0.4. And I'm going to change that to a little bit darker green. Dark? Okay. Let's see. Yep. Okay, so we can see it. All right, then the next thing and the final piece that we need is the hair. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the Bezier tool again, and I'm going to click, and I'm going to hold the Command key and go up a little bit, and then I'm going to, again, with the Command key clicked, it doesn't matter exactly how far you go, I'm going to click again, and then I'm going to click again. And now without the command or control key clicked, I'm just going to start making a jagged line. And just use your imagination, it doesn't matter. You know, this is just his hair. You can pretend he just woke up this morning and his hair is a mess. And then when you get to the end, see how when I get over that box it turns red? That's going to close the shape. And that's what we want. And I'm going to make my fill black since he has black hair. Now this is the important part. We need the hair to fit half of our piece of paper here. So half of our piece of paper is 5.5 inches. So I'm going to unclick the constrain button and I want the width to be 5.5. Alright, and then what I'm going to do is the height right now is set at a 1.103. I think probably 1.1 is good. And now what we're going to do, just going to zoom back out so you can just get an idea of what this is going to look like. If we put the, just going to select all of this. We're actually almost done. So I'm just going to pretend that the eyes are in the right place. I just want to show you where the hair will go. So when it's all done, you know, this is basically how this is going to look. So your eyeballs, actually, this one's going to be up this. But anyway, that's really all it is to make the pieces. And we just go to File, Save. And I'm just going to call this Ink-119-Frank.svg. And let's see, I'm going to put in my downloads folder right now. And I'm going to hit Save. And let's try and see how this looks in our Cricut. Again, if you have a silhouette, you can do that in your silhouette. But I have Cricut, so this is where we're going to go. So I'm going to hit New Project, Upload Image, and we'll browse. Then we go to my downloads. And here it is, our Ink-119-Frank.svg. And I'll give you my file so you can play with it if you want to. And we're going to hit Save. Insert it. You can see I have another one. This is the one I made in Illustrator, so this is the one that we're doing in Inkscape. Insert. And again, so we have, I'm not sure what these two little pieces are from, so I'm just going to delete those. But we have the hair, the nose, the two pieces of the black part of the eye, the white, and the green. And you're ready to go. So it will cut. And I'm going to, I put together one of the cards, so I'm going to attach that to the end of this video so you can see how the card actually goes together. Alright, thanks for watching. If you have any problems or struggle with this at all, please contact me. I'm happy to help you. We have lots of options and help. Because like I said, even I had a little bit of a struggle with the half circle. So please don't feel bad if that happens to you, but we're here to help. Alright, thanks for watching and stay tuned because the next piece of the video is